Yo, I'm like an addict, ooh, I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
Alright y'all, welcome back to S Sounds Racing. As y'all saw in the previous video, got my UMI lower control arms, adjustable lower control arms. I went ahead and posted the other video because I didn't want to drag it out trying to get these in, because then running into some situations over the weekend, had to work on some people's vehicles, so everything on here got pushed to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and try to drop these in tonight. Already got the car up in the air, and now I'm just going to unbolt them out of there. And supposedly they're supposed to be set to factory length, so what I'll do is I'll pull the old control arms out, you know, and get them pretty dang close, and then that way we know we're pretty square. So we got both of them side by side here. These things are rough. So the best way I can probably do this is just, let me see if I can get a light here and try to see right in there. That's pretty close. And then this one, they're pretty close to factory. And be careful when you're doing this. They come with this zip tie on here, and that's because these things slide out, these aluminum bushings. So don't be a little excited when you get them. It's like, oh, let's just take off all the plastic and everything, because you'll lose these things. So please be careful with that. But I mean, heck, you can see these bushings don't look that bad, but that doesn't look the greatest. So I'm gonna go ahead and slap this thing in there, and then I'll leave everything loose, and then you have to, after you get everything in, be sure that this goes on the chassis side. So this grease fitting faces toward the bottom of or the road, I guess you could say, and this side will go toward the rear end side. And then once you get them in, you'll see what I'm saying. I'm gonna lower it, jack it back up, then I'll remove the jack stands from the chassis or the frame, and then I will stick them on the axle, lower them back down, so that way it's underweight, and then I'll tighten everything and all the bolts and make sure these jam nuts are tight too. So that's where we're at. you can see there, this stuff never lines up the way it's supposed to. So what I'll have to do, there's two ways. I can either A, just go ahead and shave it down a little bit, which is probably what I'll do, or spread out this bracket. And I'd rather not spread out the bracket. I'd rather just knock it down that little bit and call it quits. So now that's kind of sucks, but like I said, this is supposed to go into a stock location. We got a 4.9" in here, so that would be why that's the case. It's actually the thickness of this bracket that we have to take it out. So it's like pick one side and go with it, you know. Let me get my marker. Fit this thing like 90 times, so hopefully this will be the last time. I'm gonna let it cool off. Got some charcoal going. I'm gonna grill some burgers tonight for dinner, and then hopefully this will be done. I'm gonna let it cool off first. Okay, so we got it in. We ground it down. The bushings enough to get them in. Now I'm gonna just kind of run this in a little bit. After I knock the camera over. I'm not going to tighten it. Just going to snug it up a little bit there. So that's in. You know, we still got a little bit of play in there. I got to tighten up the lock nut here. There was a little adjustment in there I had to make. And then I'm going to set it, jack it back up, and put jack stands underneath here. As you can see, we got our anti-roll bar here. It's extended all the way down. We're out of movement here because, you know, it's all the way extended. But what I'm gonna do is do the same thing to the other side, and then I will jack it up like I said, put the jack stands here, and then tighten everything up and go from there, then grease that grease fitting up there. Alright, so that's the thing with these cars. I mean, we start changing so much stuff. I mean, like, we got a 4.9" in here, we got a turbo 350 in it, we got, you know, LS that didn't come in this car. You start changing all these things, you run into little problems like this, excuse me, that, I mean, you have to make adjustments because you've adjusted everything in the chassis, everything. I mean, subframe connectors, now we're putting lower control arms in, adjustable ones, and then we just put in a roll bar in. You know, there's all different factors in here, so it's never just a complete bolt in and then run with it. But I'll try to add to this video on how I, you know, set everything back down on the axle and put it under weight, and pretty much tighten everything up. But other than that, pretty much where we're at. I'll show you how everything else goes when it comes to letting it back down and putting the weight on it. All right. So we got the driver's side in, lower control arms. Now we're getting ready to start on the passenger side. We already know the process now. We got to grind these things down and make them fit. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and drop the old ones out and go from there. so as you can see, I wanted to try and see if these things will fit in there, but not going to work because the other one, as you saw, it fell right out. The other side had to pry a little bit. So I'm going to have to grind these down, probably like 1/8 of an inch total on each side, maybe a 1/16 each side to make 1/8. But I'm just going to grind them down like I already showed you, and on the other one, and go from there. And once that's done, I'll show you, I'll have it installed, and then I'll show you putting it back down on the ground to tighten everything up. All right, so as you can see, got it back under its own weight, sitting on the axles, or excuse me, the jack stands are underneath the axles. It's under its own weight. Roll bar, anti-roll bar is back where it needs to be. Now it's just button up those 4 bolts, tighten up the one adjusting nut, and that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done real quick. Like I said, other than having to do a little bit of grinding on those bushings, I think it's because we have this quick performance 9-inch in here that caused that little bit of an issue. But yeah, it wasn't too bad of an install. Just took a little bit of time grinding things down. All right, so got it back under its own weight, tighten everything down. The one thing I forgot to mention that I did do was the grease fittings on the chassis side. Make sure you grease those. I think it doesn't take much to put in there to get it started, but that is a normal upkeep on them. But once you install them, you do have to grease them because the bolts are in there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Have you ever had a dream that you could do so?
So make sure you grease those. But other than that, that's pretty much into this video. I gotta plug the battery back in and all that kind of stuff from when I welded up the anti-roll bar on the rear end. And a quick update on where we're at. Hopefully next week we'll be down in Florida. We're taking it down to the dyno. Mini farm truck's gonna tune it. We're gonna throw in some injectors because we're switching to E85. Get off this pump gas stuff and pump gas / race fuel we're mixing, and just run the E85 and go from there. Other than that, I appreciate y'all. Comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next upload. Hopefully we might do some live stuff down in Florida next week, so we'll see. Appreciate it.